But let's start first with the bloodbath in Sukma that yesterday left behind 25 distraught families. Tonight, from Bihar to Punjab to Haryana, the families of the CRPF Jawans who laid down their lives in yesterday's Naxal attack are in mourning. Many are demanding sterner action by the government in dealing with Maoist ambushes. Tonight, I want to start by paying a tribute to our brave Jawans.
They are the brave hearts who perished to the guns of guerrillas in the heart of India. 25 of India's finest soldiers in the CRPF massacred by Naxals in Sukma. A pall of gloom has descended on the families the young Jawans have left behind. Son of the soil, Constable Abhay Mishra fell at the hands of Maoists, probably from his own state. In another corner of Chattisgarh, Constable Banmali Ram has left behind a wife and daughter. His distraught father questions the intelligence failure that led to the attack.
हम लोग बोले थे कि छुट्टी करा करके आओ, शादी उदी चल रहा है करके, तो छुट्टी कराऊंगा लेकिन साहब नहीं है.
Dissatisfaction with the government runs high among the families of the martyrs. Assistant Sub-Inspector Naresh Kumar's family has refused to perform the last rites of the Braveheart until the government offers them financial help. In Sheikhpura in Bihar, a bewildered mother is struggling to cope with the loss of her son, Constable Ranjit Kumar. Grief is writ on her face as she wonders about the future of her two grandsons. In Bihar's Rohtas, Constable Krishna Kumar Pandey was just days away from a trip home when he fell to the Naxals in Sukma. He was to return home for a wedding in the family, which has been forever marred by tragedy.
जब भी आता था, कभी भी आता था, तो गांव के हर लोगों से मिलता था. बहुत अच्छा स्वभाव का लड़का था. शायद ये गांव भरपाई नहीं कर पा रहा.
What and when will the forces learn the hard way, and will any lessons be learned, or will the bureaucrats make strategy for forces who fight Naxals on the ground? With camera person Ravi Khan, this is Kamaljeet Sandhu in Raipur for India Today.
The brutal attack on the CRPF Jawans in Sukma is the worst in Chattisgarh in the past 7 years. Let's tell you exactly what happened now on Monday, how the Maoists carried out this deadly attack that killed 25 brave Jawans.
The deadliest attack by Naxals on the CRPF in the last 7 years. 25 Jawans killed in an ambush in the jungles of Chattisgarh. Around 8:30 in the morning on Monday, 99 Jawans of 74 Battalion of the CRPF left their Durgpal camp and reached Chinta Gufa. Their task was to sanitize the road for construction work passing through a forested area. About 300 heavily armed Naxalites who were hiding in the area used locals as human shields before carrying out their brutal strike. The extremists divided themselves into small groups and launched the attack with an IED blast. This was followed by firing with AK-47s at around 12:25 p.m. Taken by surprise by the Naxals in their jungle hiding, the CRPF men retaliated with gunfire. But the Jawans were clearly outnumbered. The Naxals, led by their commander Hidama, fired at least 500 rounds, inflicting heavy casualties. The Naxal terrorists then fled with weapons taken from the dead Jawans. Besides AK-47s, AKMs and Insas rifles, they also looted wireless sets and spare batteries, binoculars and bulletproof jackets. The attack by the Maoists was swift and deadly. That hundreds of Naxalites took part in the strike proves once again how vulnerable the CRPF Jawans are inside the Red Terror Zone. Bureau Report, India Today.
The images of our Jawans can only be contrasted with our political class. which 24 hours after the incident is already engaging in politics over the incident. Digvijay Singh of the Congress has alleged that Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Raman Singh is hand in glove with the Naxals. The other opposition leaders have taunted the government and said that Narendra Modi's promise of Note Bandi leading to the end of Naxal Bandi has not worked out. The question is, can our netas find a solution to taking on Red Terror?
आतंकियों को पैसा कहां से मुहैया होता है? सीमा पार के हमारे शत्रु जाली नोटों के जरिए, नकली नोटों के जरिए अपना धंधा भारत में चलाते हैं.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ambitious demonetization drive had many stated aims. A major one among them was a crackdown on terror funding. The note ban was widely expected to cripple terrorists and extremists. After the Sukma Maoist attack that killed 25 CRPF Jawans, the opposition is taking the government to task over the failure of note ban in either ending stone pelting or putting a stop to Red Terror.
The internal security situation of this country is deteriorating day by day, and you have a government which is absolutely embroiled in its own triumphalism, and they are not really either concerned.
Not just the Congress, the government is facing the heat from all the corners.
Army people are dying, and he is claiming that demonetization will help and curbing the movement of the Naxalite.
Why government has been continuously failing to handle the situation in Chattisgarh? Government will have to do some serious introspection.
What would hurt the Modi government is the criticism from its own camp.
तसंच नोटाबंदी सुद्धा छत्तीसगड किंवा काश्मीरमध्ये झाली नसेल कदाचित. मला माहित नाही, म्हणजे मी तिकडे गेलो नाही, तर कदाचित झाली नसेल. जर का तिकडे नोटाबंदी झाली तर छत्तीसगड आणि काश्मीर सुद्धा शांत होईल.
Congress leader Digvijay Singh went a step further and accused the Raman Singh government of colluding with Naxalites.
मंत्री रमन सिंह जी और उनके भाजपा के लोग वहां से उन क्षेत्रों में चुनाव जीत के आते हैं तो उनके साथ समझौता होता है, लेन देन होता है. मैं खुलेआम इस बात को कह चुका हूं, आज फिर दोहरा रहा हूं.
The opposition is also questioning the government's failure to name a chief for the CRPF for nearly 2 months. The previous DG retired in February, but the Home Minister has dismissed the charges.
जो भी घटना हुई है बहुत ही दुखद है, दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण. इसे हम लोगों ने चुनौती के रूप में स्वीकार किया.
Separatism in Kashmir and Maoist terror in Chhattisgarh are the biggest internal security challenges for the Modi government. So far, the government strategy on the ground and off it, like demonetization, have failed to deliver the results. Sooner rather than later, Prime Minister Modi will have to redraw his strategy in dealing with Maoist terror and Kashmiri extremists. With inputs from Supriya Bharadwaj, Kumar Vikrant and Balakrishna, Bureau Report, India Today.
24 hours later, it's time therefore to look at the various mistakes that have been committed that have resulted in yet another attack on Jawans in Chhattisgarh. My colleague Gaurav Sawant now joins me. Gaurav, you pointed out, or you're about to point out, 7 mistakes that you're saying have been committed by the security forces. Lessons rather that they have not learnt. Tell us, what are those 7 lessons?
Rajdeep, in 2010, one of the biggest terror attacks, 76 CRPF personnel were massacred by the Maoists. An inquiry was ordered, several lessons were drawn out. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday in 2017. Why have those lessons not been learned? Or if learned, does the CRPF lack institutional memory? Why am I saying that? CRPF, it bunched up at meals time. It did so in 2010. It did so once again yesterday. So you had a large number of CRPF personnel sitting in close proximity, eating food. While some were standing guard, the Maoists came, they attacked them from multiple flanks. They were bunched up, they could not outflank them. So bunching up at meals time, strict no-no, yet they did that yesterday. That's point 1. Because they were bunched up, they could not outflank the Maoists. They may have attacked from 3 different sides. As the CRPF personnel say that Maoists came wave after wave in groups of 25 and 30, 300 of them. The CRPF men, had they been at a far distance, they could have outflanked them and hit them. That unfortunately did not happen. Also, if 300 Maoists are assembling in one area, why did the CRPF and the Chattisgarh police not have intelligence about their activities? That's point 1. And point 2, why did they not use drones or unmanned aerial vehicles for surveillance? Let's say not 300, 200, 100, so many people assembling in one area, marching towards the CRPF when they went out about their patrol. An unmanned aerial vehicle, if they had access to that technology, that would have helped. The CRPF also did not dominate the high ground. The Ram Mohan Committee report in 2010 found that a big problem in 2010 that again appears to have been a problem in 2017. Of course, an inquiry will tell us much more about this. So 7 years, no lessons learned. Mine-protected vehicles. Now the CRPF has been crying itself hoarse, seeking additional mine-protected vehicles, but these MPVs are not available. Some that are available are not functioning effectively, so they're cannibalizing on some vehicles to make some function, or walking on foot, and unfortunately, Rajdeep, becoming cannon fodder.
Gaurav, that's exactly what I'm now going to raise. Are our Jawans being used as cannon fodder? That's the first big question I want to raise tonight. Are Jawans fighting a war against Naxals behind their back? That's the second question that I want to raise tonight. Are Jawans fighting a war against Naxals with one hand tied behind their back? Should security forces be allowed to use helicopter gunships against Naxals? Why are standard operating procedures failing on each occasion? Was there a major intelligence failure in Sukma? Has demonetisation had a limited impact on Naxal activities contrary to what the Prime Minister claims? Who will be held accountable for the lives of our Jawans being lost? Joining me now is Mr. Prakash Singh, former DG BSF and someone who's tracked this issue for years. I'll also be joined by R.K. Singh, former IG CRPF. Joining me also is Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Member of Parliament of the Congress, and GVL Narasimha Rao, National Spokesperson of the BJP. So the other way around, Singhvi of the Congress and Narasimha Rao of the BJP. I appreciate all of you joining us, but I want to ask you, Prakash Singh, first, as the expert. You've seen what Gaurav has said. It's very clear that number of standard operating procedures of 2010 were not followed in 2017. Who is to be held accountable is my first question for this.
The accountability is basically of the state government and also of the CRPF. The state government, I would say, the kind of assistance, the kind of cover, the kind of intelligence inputs which they should be giving to the CRPF, that was not there. You see, unfortunately, the mindset of most of the state governments, the only exception has been the undivided Andhra state. The mindset of most of the state governments is that it is Government of India's fight, and it is for the central forces to bear the brunt of it.
But we have a BJP government in Chattisgarh and we have a BJP government at the centre.
No, that's all right. But
so there should be perfect coordination.
No, but the mindset of the state governments, irrespective of the government at the centre, is that it is centre's battle and it is for the central forces to fight. They ought to remember, and they must, you see, they must understand that unless the state forces take the lead, unless they launch frontal attacks, and they depend on the central forces only for a supporting role, unless that happens, and the present equation is reversed in the sense that today it is the central forces which are taking the lead and the states are playing a supportive role. It should be the other way around. The states should take the lead, they should be in the front, and the central forces should play a supporting role.
I'm going to give you some facts though about the state government. And this is a state government that has now almost ruled Chhattisgarh for 15 years. GVL Narasimha Rao of Raman Singh, your chief minister there. 425 sanctioned police stations in Chhattisgarh. Only 403 exist. But what is more troubling, of these 161 don't have vehicles. And most of them do not have mine-proof vehicles. You are today, therefore, when you look at the Jawans, dare I say, sir, when your party leaders tweet about it, or all party leaders tweet about it, these are crocodile tweets. The fact is the Jawans don't have mine-proof vehicles. They don't have proper vehicles to take on, or proper equipment to take on the other side.
Rajdeep, I think government will review it, and in any case, what
how many lives will it take? Sorry to intervene. How many lives will it take before you review it? For God's sake.
Why the incident occurred yesterday?
How many lives will it take before you review, sir?
Every incident, Rajdeep, requires
Gaurav
a review.
has just shown all the mistakes of 20
I think
that
there
are
is a
committed in
strategy in
2017.
place. I think Rajdeep, I think it is for the security forces with the support of the government to review it and follow the standard operating procedures. And the government is there to lend all support, because there is commitment at the level of the political leadership to treat this as a menace, as a law and order problem largely, and to address
police
it
stations
forthwith,
don't have vehicles.
unlike the
Where is the
previous
commitment?
governments, which have had a confused.
Where is the commitment, sir? Where is the commitment? If I don't have, if I don't have the infrastructure, I am fighting this battle with one hand tied behind my back.
Don't quote selective statistics.
I will quote more statistics if you want. I will quote more statistics about the quality of infrastructure and the facilities with the Jawans
don't
on the
quote
ground.
Selective statistics. I think on this, I refute all your allegations. I say this is a problem for which both the state and the center are committed to see the end of this problem. We have made huge strides in this regard already. This government has actually initiated a 13,000 crore project only a few months ago, and there is already a lot of progress to ensure physical connectivity of every village in these areas. Because unless the physical connectivity is established, I think you cannot fight these people at the ground level. And it's as a part of this road connectivity project, people have been attacked yesterday. So do not, this government, for God's sake, the media wakes up, only some incident happens, and then you want to look at things from a very narrow perspective to make headlines. My suggestion to you is, please examine the issue in its all comprehension, in all its magnificence. Do not try and look at selective statistics only to use as a tool to beat the government.
Okay, you're in an aggressive mood, and I don't want to combat you on a day when we should all be in mourning and are introspecting rather than doing a tutu meme. So I'm going to get away from the tutu meme, and I hope Abhishek Manu Singhvi, you do so too, because it is now going to become, I fear, about Congress versus BJP. Digvijay Singh, your leader today, says BJP leaders at the ground level are hand in glove with the Naxals. The fact is, when you were in power, similar attacks have taken place. So this is not as if this attack has only taken place when the BJP is in power. Attacks have taken place when the BJP and the Congress both have been in power in the country. And that's what you need to recognize. Prakash Singh, when as a former police officer, does that depress you? When we do these TV programs, it becomes Congress versus BJP. These figures of vehicles, I'm not blaming the BJP for it. I'm blaming the way in which the Indian state treats internal security. We don't have a DG CRPF for the last 2 months. It appears to me that this is not treated as a priority area. Today's priorities seem to be gaushalas and, dare I say, not providing equipment to our Jawans.
Let us leave the gaushala part apart, but the fact of the matter is that the DG CRP, it should have been possible to appoint him at least 15 days, if not a month before the retirement. You see, a force of 300,000 men, it's the largest paramilitary organization in the world, and you don't find time and mind you, you are not going to produce an officer, you don't have to import an officer. Officers are there in front of you, you have to make your selection. What's the problem? I don't understand.
Leadership, of course, is only one problem. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, you're back with us. As I said earlier, I don't want this to be a tutu meme. There seems something fundamentally wrong in the way we approach this battle. Do we treat the Naxals as our people, as our citizens, and therefore avoid, for example, using helicopter warships, avoid using heavy artillery against them, try and see whether a dialogue can work? Or do we do as the Andhra Pradesh government of Chandrababu did? Effectively use the greyhounds against them and at the same time reached out to them through developmental activities. I want to understand the position of the opposition, which goes beyond just blaming the BJP. You were in power, people died. BJP is in power, faceless Jawans have died again. I'm afraid we are having a problem with Abhishek Manu Singhvi, not surprising. The Congress's lines today not working the way they should. But GVL Narasimha Rao, I want to understand this. Beyond the traditional way in which political parties look at it, what is the new aspect that the BJP is throwing up? The Prime Minister, and I'm going to play that bite, after demonetization had claimed, I will break the back of Naxals. That demonetization has broken the back of Naxals. And then you get an incident that like this. Listen in, sir, first to what the Prime Minister had to say at the time.
आतंकियों को पैसा कहां से मुहैया होता है? सीमा पार के हमारे शत्रु जाली नोटों के जरिए, नकली नोटों के जरिए अपना धंधा भारत में चलाते हैं.
Is there an acceptance, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, that, this battle is not going to be won by demonetization alone? It's a multi-pronged strategy that you need, and it starts with equipping and providing the kind of facilities and motivating our Jawans. You need to motivate them on the ground. That is missing. There is no leadership to motivate them on the ground.
No, Rajdeep, never did anyone in the government say that demonetization was the only way to end the menace of Maoism. It was never suggested that way. But certainly a lot of these forces, they were getting a lot of money from outside. A lot of counterfeit currency was in their possession. So certainly this was also considered one kind of an effect, one kind of a fight against these anti-national forces. But we never stopped our operations in these areas because demonetization was done. So it's far-fetched to suggest that we consider that as the only instrument against Naxal, the menace. And as far as the threat here is concerned, government is working on multiple levels. On the one hand, you see in many areas, even in Chattisgarh, please visit Bastar. I think unfortunately the Indian media relies or sits only in Delhi and reports from news studios. And nobody goes to the field level to really report from the ground level. And you have gone to the battlefield in Kashmir, to the LOC, but I find no media report from the ground level. It's so shocking. So you are actually influenced by the kind of rhetoric that you hear from the sympathizers of Naxals sitting in Delhi, sitting in JNU, Delhi University, and in Parliament. I think it's this kind of misinformation that is spread through the media.
At the end of the day, this battle, they are not stakeholders. Forget for a moment someone from JNU. They are not the stakeholders. They are not responsible for you not providing enough police vehicles or equipping Jawans on the ground or not having a DG CRPF for the last 2 months. Please, let us focus on the stakeholders. You are in the government. You are in the government in Chattisgarh. You are in the government in Delhi. You represent the Indian state. I want to understand from you, what are you going to do about it? Just as I want to understand that from Abhishek Manu Singhvi. What are politicians and what is the political system doing to ensure that Jawans are not reduced to a statistic? Dr. Singhvi, if you can hear me now.
Rajdeep, can I speak?
Yes, you can speak. Your line was going on and off. I want to understand from you, what is the Congress going to do beyond the blame game? Can we end this blame game?
Rajdeep, 1 minute, please.
Yes.
Rajdeep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Rajdeep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you from the beginning, but you have not been... I can hear you from the beginning, but you have not been able to hear me, so we are now 15 minutes down the program.
Yes.
Let me make my points in a very quick manner. Number one, Rajdeep, this is absolutely one of the worst dastardly attacks, and we have really been used like cannon fodder as far as human lives are concerned. No doubt we've had incidents like this during earlier times as well. But I want to make 3 points, Rajdeep, which are being escaped. One is, this government in Chattisgarh has been there for more than 3 terms, almost 16 years now. Now, in that time, Chattisgarh has suffered some of the worst attacks. Worst. Number 2, the kind of language used by the BJP when they were in opposition, I have the quotes with about Congress failures, We are much more responsible in the opposition at the central level, and we are not doing that.
What responsibility today? Digvijay Singh says that Raman Singh is hand in glove with the Naxals. No, what responsibility? What is a Jawan going to think when he is told that the Chief Minister is hand in glove with the Naxals? Is this the kind of comment to make on a day like today?
Rajdeep, first of all, you speak for so long.
No, don't, please, sir.
Rajdeep, first of all, you speak for so long, I can't be heard. I start speaking, I made 2 comments, and before that you interrupt me. I have figures with me here, Rajdeep, in this iPad, which show that killings, which are on 3 parameters, civilians, army, that is CRPF and paramilitary, and Maoists and leftists, from 2014 are at 317,433, and the current year not yet over, already 150. They are much higher than the previous years, much higher. Number 4, the kind of jingoistic statements, the kind of statements in the nationalism theme made by Mr. Modi and his government, put it to shame when you hear these kind of things. When you say that, no, look, we will deal with an iron hand. Do you know the number of deaths on both this Naxal front and civilians, plus the number of deaths in J&K are far higher after 2014, far higher than prior. Mr. Prakash Singh rightly pointed out 2 months of gap in CRPF appointment. There are 9 months gaps in CIC, in CBI appointments. All of them you wait, you play politics, and therefore you have lack of leadership.
No, 1 minute now. You made your point.
That all the operational standing operating procedures have been laid down.
So those standard operating procedures, the unified command idea, all of them on the ground are a struggle. The fact is that in this particular incident, the standard operating procedures have been flouted. There has been a massive intelligence failure. And I'm just wondering, GVL Narasimha Rao, whether just as the Congress needs to also be responsible, will your government also introspect a bit, less chest thumping? The fact is on internal security, and I will play both those images now, both in Kashmir and Chhattisgarh, your government finds itself on the back foot. That's the reality. The BJP leadership says we have a chappan ki chhati. Where is the chappan ki chhati? Where is the chappan ki chhati in Naxal areas?
No, Rajdeep, we are not, I don't think you should be using the language of political campaigns. But as far as the real issue is concerned, our government is certainly committed to fighting this seriously. And you have some of these attacks precisely because the government has now reached the last bastion. Sukma is the last bastion of the Naxals in Chattisgarh. Go to Bastar and see the kind of progress that has been made, where villages have schools today, villages have colleges, functional schools, colleges, hospitals, which was not the case a few years ago. So there is a lot of progress being made. On the one hand, you are creating development infrastructure. On the other hand, you are improving the physical connectivity. So this is a desperate attempt by the Naxals to somehow hold on to the last territories that are currently under their control. Certainly, we have achieved a lot of progress, and there is need for introspection. I certainly agree. And the government has already made its intent clear. There is a meeting that is going to happen soon, which will help do any course correction required for fighting this battle across 7-8 states.
I want to ask you this, Mr. Prakash Singh. You're hearing the politicians. Is the problem with the political class? Is it true that development is taking place? One of the reasons why this attack took place was because roads are being constructed. Naxals have traditionally in some parts seen this as a threat to them. Do you believe therefore that even from a government's point of view, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you have a force facing you which wants to overthrow the Indian Constitution?
No, they are definitely opposed to development. They have been attacking schools, they have been blowing up communication towers, they don't allow road construction to take place. I mean, they are opposed to all this. But you see, Rajdeep, I mean, we have to view the whole thing rather dispassionately. Let us forget about politics. It is a fact that that Sukma has been a great setback. But please remember that in a counterinsurgency movement, ups and downs are bound to be there. And if we take an overall view, the fact remains that the level of violence has come down, A. B. There has been tremendous shrinkage in the geographical area under Maoist influence. From 220 districts, it has come down to 106. 3. It is also a fact that a number of Central Committee and Politburo members have been accounted for by the security forces through intelligence operations. So there has been a lot of...
So you're saying let's not use this one incident to believe that all is lost?
No, all is definitely not lost, and we have made considerable headway on the Naxal front, but a lot remains to be done. And why are these tactical mistakes being made, which is a cause for concern? I mean, the kind of mistakes with the CRP made here, to which Gaurav has drawn our attention. So I mean, the lessons need to be learned. And only last month, March 11, there was another road opening party was attacked in this very district. So this road opening party should have been extra careful. Why were they not? So, I mean,
I'm playing certain statistics of incidents. Actually, the number of incidents have declined. I want to clarify that, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, because listening to you, it seems as if everything has gone wrong in the last 2 years. There are challenges, but let's also not say as if compared to 2010, 2,210 to 213 incidents during the UPA time, the incidents have come down. I want to make that very clear to you, Dr. Singhvi. So it's not as if the BJP has entirely failed. The incidents have come down. What is problematic at times is that the BJP seems to believe that they have finished the problem of Naxal terror. So I want to make that clear to you, Dr. Singhvi, in conclusion. I hope you will accept that. Those are hard figures. That's my fact checker. The fact checker clearly says incidents have come down. Yes, in Chhattisgarh. Then you and I can disagree. My facts show that the incidents have come down.
Fact checker. Can I just reply?
Yes.
No. But how will you allow me to reply, please? You have the mic, you are the anchor.
Don't lie,
I've got hardly any time. Incidents have come down is a misleading sentence. Incidents has come down is a misleading statement. It's not the incidents I was talking about. I was talking about number of deaths. The total fatalities in 2016 were 433, which includes 123, 66 and 244 of the three categories: civilian, security and Maoists. 433 is the highest since 2010.
Those are not my figures.
You picked out the peak year of the Congress regime, 2013.
What is your source?
The peak year of the Congress.
What is your source, Dr. Singhvi?
The number of deaths.
Don't confuse the viewer. What is your source?
The number of deaths in 2016.
What is your source, Dr. Singhvi?
The toll is 433. The number of deaths is...
What is your source? What? My source does not suggest that.
What are you saying?
Yes, my source does not say you. I want to know your source because your source does not match mine.
You're talking about number of incidents.
Yes, Mr. Singh. Yes, very quickly.
Sir, you are talking about number of incidents.
Yes. You see, the total...
I'm talking about number of deaths.
Kindly allow me, Dr. Singhvi.
Yes.
Number of deaths.
The figures of fatalities, the total number of killed in 2007 was 350. And this has come down in 10 years to 207. And I mean, talking of security forces casualties, in 2007, say 10 years back, it was 182. 216, it was 36.
Yes.
So a tremendous drop in the figures of casualties and particularly of security forces personnel. On the other hand, the number of Naxals killed, that has gone up from 73 in 2007 to 133 in 2016. So
Dr. Singhvi, you need to be very clear. We need to ensure that when we tell our viewers these figures, please do not mislead. I do not know where you have got your figures. Maybe the Congress headquarters has misled you. These are hard official figures we have. Nobody is saying the problem has been conquered.
No.
Let's not make this a battle of figures. Sir, at the end of the day, Jawans have lost their lives. At the end of the day, Jawans have lost their lives. These are the figures that we have. At the end of the day, even a single Jawan or a single citizen, civilian loses his life in the battle, we should be worried about it because we want the problem eliminated. Let's leave it at that. Otherwise, it will become an endless tu-tu meh-meh between you and me, which I don't want this to become. I want to, before I take a break, just play the pictures once again of all the Jawans who died in Sukma. Because my worry is, come tomorrow, this will be a forgotten statistic. GVL Narasimha Rao was right. It's only when incidents like this happen that we in the media go into Bastar. The fact is, for the other 365 days of the year, 364 days of the year, Sukma is forgotten. I want to put all the names in a scroll just now. of all the individuals who lost their lives in Sukma. These are the people who you should know. These are the names. See them on your screen. These are people who will be forgotten come tomorrow. And these are the people who you should know are the ones who lost their lives. They are the faceless Indians, like many others, who are fighting a battle that in many ways they really are struggling at times with. They were trying to build a road, trying to reach out to a part of Sukma, and they found themselves caught and ambushed. Today they will ask the questions of our political class. Have we done enough? They will ask questions that whether a CRPF, the paramilitary force, should at least have a proper chief. They will ask whether they need helicopters and helicopter warships possibly to go into remote, inaccessible areas. They will ask whether they are to be on the front line on each occasion, even as our netas will battle it out in TV studios. These are the individuals, they come from different parts of this great country of ours. And you must ask whether they are being used as cannon fodder. Will they be provided the equipment that they need to fight this battle? And it is a battle at the end of the day that they need to fight. If it could be won in Andhra Pradesh, it can be won in other states. It has to be won by winning hearts and minds of villagers. It has to be won by fighting with proper equipment. These are the individuals who today we must salute, because they tomorrow will be faceless Indians as their families mourn for them.
India number.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining me.